So welcome. It's like that. Welcome to good morning. Good morning for me. Good night for you. My guest today it's Dr. Ben from Singapore. And welcome to ATMA con Beatriz. The name of this is in Spanish. ATMA means soul in Sanskrit, but also means learning to transform our world in alternatives. But ATMA is aprendiendo, A from aprendiendo. So the name is in Spanish. And it's an idea of how the space was created with the idea to provide, to share with friends, my colleagues, my buddies like you, and how we are doing in this world and who we are in this world. What is our proposal? What is our perspective? Just have a conversation. And I'm super honored that you accept my invitation because you know how much I love you since I met you. But then we have this relationship when we were going through our health coaching certification. So before talking about how I met you, the first question is, who is Benjamin Go or Dr. Ben or Ben for yourself? Yeah. So you tell us who is Ben for Ben.
Okay. So maybe I'll start with, and I as I reiterate versions of myself, I think who I am becomes clearer. But perhaps I would say the roles that I play in life that are meaningful for me. So one of the roles that I play is a urologist. So I'm a medical doctor by training with a specialty interest in urology. Urology, that means everything below the kidneys.
Urology, urology. Okay.
Yeah, and so my subspecialty interest is kidney transplant as well as robotic kidney surgery. So two of my identities that I identify quite a lot with is a urologist as well as a kidney transplant surgeon. And that's something that I've been doing and wearing for about the last 5 years, and then the other one for about 12 years, right?
12 years.
So the doctor to a urologist has been 13 years since I graduated. And then coaching.
No kidding me. You graduated 13 years ago?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Long time, isn't it?
Yeah, already. Oh my God. I didn't know that. I didn't remember maybe. Okay.
Yes, then? Looks can be deceiving.
Yeah.
So the third role that I do actually is a coach, and that was probably where I met you in 2015. So that's the third role and something that I'm really passionate about. And then in recent times, what I've been doing in the last 2-3 years mainly was focusing on undergraduate medical education. So I take care of surgical education for my medical school in Singapore and make sure that the quality is maintained and students get examined and things like that. And the other role that I play is to learn to look at systems. That means how people, when put together, interact in a certain way, and how that gives certain results to organizations and systems. So in the bigger term, it's called organizational development. So I would say urologist, kidney transplant surgeon, medical educator, a coach, and an OD practitioner.
Wow.
But these are all titles that I play. And if you ask me who is Ben for Ben, actually, there are two main principles in my life, I would say. Learning and service. So I think through my journey of my own intrapersonal work, what I've learned is, and I use it to decide whether I do certain engagements or not, is whether I will learn something and whether I'll be in service to somebody or something larger than myself. And if the answer to either one of them is yes, then often I will say yes to doing it. So I think service and learning are quite important for me.
Wow, I like it very much. Wow, 13 years ago you graduated and 5 years ago we met. Amazing how the time flies. Ben and I, we met when he was doing his first coaching certification. I don't know if it was the first one, but it was the one that when I met you, it was your first coaching certification. Yes. So we met in Singapore. He was one of the students, and I was the somatic. Well, I am still the one of the somatic trainers in that program, and it was it's very nice when someone that is coming from that kind of profession, when a doctor comes into the classroom, because it has a different perspective. Most of the people that comes for a coaching certification, plain coaching certification, because health coaching certification, there are many doctors interested in, but it's nice, and we have had a lot of doctors in our class. Dr. Kat and you, and there was like these two, I forgot the name by now, but there's guys from India. So some students that I have so many names here, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name. But the thing is that it's a very different perspective. But the thing is that we met there, and then we were interacting a lot when we had the alumni Congress in Singapore. In those days that I was also participating as a somatic trainer in one of the process that we did. And you were one of the students. And then I remember clearly when we went for this dinner blind, and we were having so much fun before going to this, I mean, in the pre and the after, that we were like, oh my God. So we were talking a lot there. And then we went for this health coaching certification that Dr. Kat is the creator with Mark. And we were in the same class, the first batch when this program started 2 years ago. And we were part of the same team. Both of us, we were buddies in that with another of our classmates, but then the classmate has to leave the program, and we stayed together and we were doing our practices. So for me, it was a lot of learning, because imagine health coaching with a doctor is a very different perspective. I didn't have all those distinctions. And for him was like, oh yeah, diabetes, yeah, the cardiovascular disease. And I was like, yeah, I don't have an idea. So all our goals and practices, and I really feel super grateful for being your buddy during that program and learn so much from you and with you. So, and you were like very strict also, that that's your goal. What are you going to do with that when we were doing our practices? So I love it. Like, he was like really, that what he says, he was really in service for me and for himself. So that's how I met you. And I like very much that you are here, and what you said, that when you have these proposals in life, that if answers those questions, one of those two, if it's something that is going to serve someone, or if it's something that is going to help someone to learn something, your answer is yes. And I like that. So which projects are you, I mean, I know that you are teaching right now in the university, in the school, the medical school, that's your medical school now. You are part of the people that are providing service and teaching and organizing and all this. And with your coaches, how are you using this process of service and learning? How you use these two pillars that are important for you?
So interesting you mentioned that. I think recently has been quite a spate of new coaches for me. And actually my schedule is really tight. So every time I decide whether I want to take a coachee, is will I learn something from it? Will they learn something from it? And being in the relationship, can I be of service to somebody so that there is less suffering in their lives and they can reframe the way they see the world? And if I feel that, the relationship could work and I could be in service to somebody, then I tend to say, okay. I must say that in the last 2 months, I probably say okay 3 times. So lots of coaching. So I actually just came back from a coaching.
Nice.
Yes. So
and it's like that you should have like this very tight schedule, if you, because you are working as a doctor in kidney transplant, you said. And you mentioned that robotic kidney transplant. What is that? What you said robotic? You said something about robotic, or it was, or no? Yeah.
So what happens is, last time surgery used to be open, where you make a big cut, and then the last few decades we have moved towards keyhole surgery, where you use keyhole instruments to operate. And then probably in the last decade, we started using robotic surgery in a larger way, which is where you control a machine and then the robot is somewhere else a few feet away with the patients. And
No. Wait. You say so fast. I have never seen this. You are doing the operation somewhere and the operation is happening somewhere else?
a few feet away. So you are in a console controlling
Yeah.
the arms, and then the patient is maybe 6 to 10 feet away with the robotic arms inside the patient, and you get to control it with precision to ensure that you do a surgery as well as you can with the best outcome, smaller scars. Yeah.
No kidding. I didn't know that. I'm like, wow, that exists? So imagine, I mean, I'm not a doctor, huh? So in my way of seeing life, I'm sitting here, operation is happening there, and the robot is the one that is doing what it's doing, but I'm managing, right? I'm managing something. So I'm like, I have to be focused in here because I'm seeing the body here, but the body is just a representation of what is going there.
Yes. Yes. So they map the inside of the patient in a three-dimensional way on the screen, and then you control the robot.
So the robot is inside,
The patient.
but you don't cut.
You do on
A
the
little
inside.
bit, of course. You have to.
Yeah. I'll show you some of my
Wow.
videos sometimes.
I would love if you can send me a video that I can share when I put this conversation on. So whoever is like me that what
The
will see
YouTube
what you
link,
mean.
perhaps.
Wow, it's amazing. So that the people has it, this is you can do a kidney transplant like that with a robot.
I learned that in London, where I did my fellowship last year or 2 years ago, and we're looking to start it in Singapore at some point.
So in London is something that is already practiced. I mean, it's something that
London, Australia, India, US, they're doing
India. India is amazing. India, yeah.
Your favorite place?
Yeah, my favorite place, But you know what happened? I took people in a trip in 2008. I took them also on another group last year, but in 2008, we went to India, 8 people. And we were crossing a street and the third day of the trip. And one of the ladies looked to the wrong side of the street. So she looked to the right to see if cars were coming, and the car was coming from the left. So it was a motorcycle. So she didn't realize it, and we were crossing the streets. So it was an accident. So she was like she flew. Nothing. Something happened, but things got not that. It was like a little bit cut in the leg, but she couldn't walk in that moment. And we have the rest of the trip to go. I mean, it was a third day of a 3 weeks trip, and we were like, no kidding. So things got just 1 block away was a hospital, Indian hospital. Indian hospital is not like a Singapore hospital, right? So sometimes. So we had that, and we were in a small town, very tiny town. And we went to the hospital. It was the only option we had in that moment. And those guys, the doctor said, okay, we can use staples. How do you say? Like, like
Skin staples.
Staples, yeah. Staples. Grapas in Spanish. And I was like, no kidding. How India? Oh my God, what is this? Oh, I was like a super. So I called a friend of mine in Mexico, and I was like, guess what? I just had an accident with one of the ladies in the trip here in India. And these guys, I don't know, they live in the prehistory. I don't know why they are doing things that are like super old. And he was like, Beatriz, that's the most advanced thing to if somebody cut. I mean, there's nothing more advanced than that. And I was like, what? Is a hospital like you see the hospital painting, like the doctors were like this. I was like, oh my God, whatever. He was like, please trust them. They are the best. They have the best systems. They know what to do. You just trust them. Everything will be all right. And I was like, really? And that's when I learned that medical services were amazing in India. And when I go to the dentist in India, it's like, what is this? I have never had this kind of cleaning in very tiny, tiny towns, like $5. And it's like amazing. I'm like, really? So I didn't know that. So you guys, yeah.
I think as you're saying that, I think India has really good quality equipment, and I've learned a lot from Indian surgeons who have come to Singapore. I guess when you were saying that, what struck me was, you see, all of you were going on a trip, and how a little blip in the health of one of the individuals can actually cause the entire plan to transiently be derailed, or what we call a break in transparency.
Yeah.
So a trip was going on, lots of ladies, 3 weeks, and then 3 days into it, if one person's health is affected, be it an accident or an illness, actually the entire emotion and the energy of the whole group and the whole trip changes. And so as you said, that what struck me was how health, or the lack of health, can actually be a significant break in transparency.
Yeah, always. And and you never expect that. I mean, when you are in a trip, it's like you don't expect to have an accident. Of course, you're taking care, but things can happen anytime, anywhere. And with this moment that we are going through as a humanity, we have a lot of breakthrough transparency in health and how we should. It's not how to cure, it's how to prevent, how to take care. It's not that what are we gonna do if we get it? No, what we will do to not get it, to prevent that. And this accident, actually, she couldn't walk for 2 weeks, so we have to have wheelchair, and she wanted to continue. So we stayed there, and we didn't send her to Mexico. But there was many things that she couldn't do, that she had to wait with a guide, and we were like, okay, bye, okay. Then she was like, okay. And I was celebrating my 40th birthday there. So also was like, okay, so what do we do? But it was like this thing, that how advanced a country was. And now that you mentioned that in India is one of the countries that they are doing these robotic kidney operations. I didn't know that exists now. Then I will really appreciate to see one of your videos, because it will be very interesting to see that. And now that I mentioned this worldwide situation that we are going, I will tell you something. When I heard that, this difficult time that we are going, I don't like it. I'm not in that movie. It's not that, oh my God, because I have lost people during these months, and friends and elder people than me, like related with my family, for different reasons, COVID and heart attacks, different things. I'm not saying that I'm out of that and everything is like super cool and super beautiful. But what I have been doing is like doing my work, coaching my friends and coaches and whoever is needing something, using the time. And I don't have that sensation of this difficult. I'm not in that conversation. How you have lived this time with your family and your friends and your colleagues, and you as a doctor, what is the conversation in the medical arena, the health services, about what we are going through? And you guys in Singapore are really taking care of you. I mean, you are one of the countries that have, I don't know if 0 cases or 1 case, like you have minimum, for the way that you are doing what you are doing. How you live it as a doctor, and what do you think about it?
So I think I would say that perhaps it's my personal experience, because I think there are lots of webinars and Zooms about people talking about COVID, from the science to the experience.
Yes. I want you to know, my friend, I want to know, my friend, Barry, and happen to be a doctor. I don't need the scientific perspective.
Yes.
I want how you, my life that, I will tell you, these 10 months, I have been in one place, which is not the way I normally live, that I'm always moving from one place to another. So I have been in one place, I have been exercising, I'm losing weight, I'm creating I grow up a lot, my organization in essential oils a lot. I didn't thought I was going to have that time. So I had that time, so I did it. What else I have done? I create this space at ATMA con Beatriz. I'm creating a space for my team that we have now a Facebook group, private Facebook group, where we have a lot of information, and we are already 220 people in that group, and we are growing every day. There are more people there. So I'm using the day that at the end of the day, I don't have time to think. I mean, I don't watch news. I don't watch, if I watch TV, I watch like what Jim told us the other day is there are things that I'm doing. When I have time, I go to the park that is just blocked. I mean, not when I have time, I make the time to go at least once a day to walk a little bit. I don't have conversations with friends that are like, oh my God, like, okay, okay, bye. I don't need to stay in that conversation. I don't need toxic conversation and toxic relationships in this moment in my life. I'm already 52. I'm taking care of myself. That's the way I'm living. Is this correct? Is this a coaching perspective? No, it's my personal experience. So from your personal experience, how is for you? But it happened that I'm a coach and you are a coach and a doctor. So that's why I said, doctor, you have more information than me.
So I think 2020 has been an interesting year. The first part was really working really hard to deal with COVID and the disruption that it has caused. And at the same time, all the patients from this COVID period has a backlog, and they move to after COVID has sort of lightened. So you're right in the sense that with the measures and the resources that Singapore have, it's gotten under control. And then this last 3 to 4 months has been clearing up all the patients who have been waiting to see a doctor for their surgery or for enough medication during the COVID period. So traditionally, I would say November, December tends to be a bit quieter for the festivities. It's been really busy this year. And from the undergraduate education point of view, again, lots of new innovation. I would say that from the grand scheme of things, actually, there are lots of breaks in my transparencies, as well as for the system, such that you critically appraise why did we always do things a certain way, and now we do things a certain way, and then when we move forward, how are we going to do it moving forward? And the world is a very different place. People keep saying new normal. And I wonder if actually it would ever go back to anything close to what it was, getting parties of hundreds of people together, going for concerts, lots of things that we take for granted. So like for medical professions, we used to go for international conferences, and that again is not possible. So we attend it via Zoom, so we get the information. But actually what we are paying prices includes the networking, the human interaction, the social connection, the sense of medical community of a specialty coming together at a conference. At a personal level, I found it, because I'm an introvert, I actually found the time to be really healing and doing things that I care about. So I started doing a lot more coaching, and I started my own company on coaching and organizational development in July this year. So that has been really good. And then during COVID, I was learning baking in London when I was doing my fellowship last year. So every week I was baking. And then apparently the goods were good enough. People said, oh, perhaps you should try selling them. So I started a home bake, and we were baking sourdough muffins with alcohol, which I call naughty.
Are you selling
selling
that?
it? Yeah. Naughty muffins. So
really?
Just to try new things in life and explore different things that I could do. So lots of new, I would say that, COVID's trying lots of new things. And then now, I used to climb a lot and do volleyball, and because now they're all quite large group activities, which I can't do. So I've moved on to running and doing HIIT, which is high intensity interval training.
That's
so it's not
nice.
bad. Lots of trying new things in the last year.
Yeah. But this thing of selling muffins, it's sourdough muffins, where do you sell them? To friends or?
Yeah, friends who send it to their clients. I wanted something that was really good quality, high in protein, low in sugar, very, very tasty.
Wow, I
And
want to taste it.
yeah, when you come to Singapore,
I know,
it's a
maybe
passion project.
I don't know. I don't know when I will go back because I think that the next conference will be online again. I don't
Mm,
know. I don't know because the next conference, the next date is May, and I'm
mm,
not sure by May we will be able to travel. And Mexican, Singapore, I don't know. I don't think Singaporeans will let me go in because Singaporeans they care a lot and they know that we don't. So I mean, the news when I talk with my friends in Singapore, they are you going out in Mexico? And I was like, yeah, we don't have the same rules. Tell me
mm.
something that you're because for you it's transparent that thing up the difference maybe that I tell you when you say concerts and this and that, Mexico just 2 days ago, Mexico City 2 days ago went to red 2 days ago.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? 2 days ago, like 2 days ago, it was said that from I think it was Saturday. Today is Wednesday, right? I think it started on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I don't remember because I haven't been in red since February. I have been inside of the house. So I'm following Singapore and New Zealand. So many people said like, but it's okay. No, I'm following New Zealand president and Singapore president. Sorry. If they say no, don't go out, I don't go out. So,
Mm,
but here it's gonna be in red from this day, like it was 2 days ago or yesterday, I don't remember, till January the 10th. Okay.
mm, yeah.
And so I want you to see what is the difference here. Our president say, welcome people from China. We can welcome you if nobody receive you. That was in March. Okay. So
Mm,
our airports and everything were open. Our borders open, and our borders open, we have borders with the United States. So everyone that was going out of the United States, the first border, it's Mexico.
mm,
Um, and restaurants are open here.
mm. In red.
Yes. I mean, I have not gone to the supermarket yet since then because I went last week. So when I go to the supermarket, everyone is in the street without mask. I mean, many people without mask, like it's normal. There's nobody telling them anything. Downtown is full. We have our Virgin. I mean, Mexico. We have the Virgen de Guadalupe Virgin. I don't know if you are related with that. The Catholic tradition. In the Catholic, we have like the Lourdes Virgin, the Virgin Mary, but in Mexico, the name is Guadalupe. So it's a huge place, and the day of her is December 12th. So the government said, we have to avoid that many people go, thousands of people from all over the country comes to pray that day in that place, in that church. And they said it's going to be closed from 12 and 13. So people were there on 11. So it's not, there's no the consciousness that that we need to take care. So how you see the rules and regulations and policies? Because what I was told is that if I arrive in Singapore right now, if I have the idea to fly to Singapore and I'm Mexican, right? So the moment I arrive, the government will ask me to go to the hotel that they have choose that hotel. So they have chosen that hotel. So I have to go to that hotel, pay from my packet. They are not going to pay. I will pay around $3,000, more or less, for 15 days that I will stay there. After those 15 days in quarantine, that is 2 weeks, they will make some analysis of my blood and everything and all, check me. If I'm free of COVID, I may put 1 feet on the street of Singapore. If I'm not, they will take me back to my country. So hello, I will pay the ticket to go and back, and I will be just in the hotel looking from the window. So there's no need to go, but that rule is in Singapore.
Yeah.
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 So what do you think about that? Because here, like your president say that, and my president say, welcome people from China if you don't have anywhere to go. And there was a lot of people from China coming to Mexico in March, April, and May. Okay, so that's Mexico. Welcome. So what do you think
I
of
think
these differences?
I think there are many things at play, if you were to ask me. And if I were to look at it as a system point of view, I would probably say I would start with three main things. Firstly is the enforceability of government regulations, right? So when Singapore government says something, they're really strict. They have been known to enforce it and they can enforce it.
What is that? What is the
So
meaning of that? For example,
that means
what they
that if they
do?
say that you cannot go because they will have enough resources and police to catch you and drag you and do lots of things to you,
For
right?
example,
Because Singapore is a small country with lots of resources, Asian country. So there are lots of the rules are followed and enforced, you know. And as a country gets larger and larger, you can understand that it becomes difficult to enforce rules and laws. So that would probably be whether or not it's enforceable. I would say the first thing. The second thing is probably a conversation around resources. That means between Singapore and Mexico, Singapore has a lot of reserves that they are able to use to bail themselves out of the situation, either by purchasing the protective equipment, vaccines, or supplementing citizens' income to ensure that they are survivable. They provide lots of additional measures. So you need resources and you need money and you need people to do this. So countries must have built up enough resources to do what they need to do for the population. And
yeah,
different countries will have different resources. And I think the
okay.
third thing is probably the most important thing is a conversation around trust, you know, as we are coaches, right? Which is how much do we trust in the system to take care of us? And if we do, then we tend to follow and say that, okay, if you tell me this, then I will do it. But if I don't trust in the system, then the system can say one thing and I may or may not choose to follow it.
But it's
So
the other
perhaps
way
that's,
around. Our system says what is not needed for us. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like the consciousness of this of the people is like what I'm saying, that many of us we are taking care of ourselves, but not because we have the rule, because we know that we have to take care. Is
yeah,
here is a thing like a, if the government were the one saying you guys have to take care and we don't trust and we do the opposite, okay. But if the government say don't take care, I don't want to trust that government. I mean, I don't want to trust that system. That it doesn't matter. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. And some of my friends have passed away. So nothing will happen where and how.
yeah,
And this is more serious that when we want. But it's like it's in nowadays like I think it's a way of how we are conscious also of and how we are responsible. Like also responsibility, it will come from inside. You will respond, you will develop your ability to respond to different circumstances according to the level of the consciousness that you want to develop in your life. And
yeah,
sometimes like I love, I mean, there are many things that are very different in Singapore from Mexico. No, many. We are very different as the way we have grown up. Like I was talking the other day with one of my friends in this space, but in Spanish, and I was telling him that I do remember always the day that I was crossing the street to go to the M Hotel, the hotel that I was staying when I'm in Singapore. And I was with Jennifer at night. It was like at 1 a.m. financial district. Nobody was going to come till 7 a.m. And it was in red. And I was going to cross the street. And Jennifer said, no. And I was like, why not? Because it's in red. And I was like, yeah, but there's no car coming. And she was like, yeah, but it's in red. And I was like, yeah, but the next car is coming at 7 a.m. It's one. We have 6 hours to cross one street. So let's go. And she was like, no.
yeah.
We have to learn that there are rules that it doesn't matter if nobody see you. There are things that it doesn't matter if nobody see you. It means that how you are responsible with the rules. It doesn't matter that if you will get punishment or not. It's how you behave when you know that this is the way. Why we have to hide? Why we have to do the things around? Why? And I was like, oh yeah, but it's very different way of thinking.
Very
And it's
different.
very different, very different. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, nobody coming. It's like that small things. Those things I have seen in Singapore. However, with the same person in Chinatown in Singapore is a different behavior. So it's like we are like, okay, we are in Chinatown or we are in financial district. So it's like, it's super cool. I really love that. I really love that. So in these days, in Christmas, how are the things going on in Singapore? How the people is celebrating? Because you guys also celebrate a lot the Chinese New Year. When is it Chinese New Year? Which day? February?
Early February.
Early February, right? 7, 8, 9. When I got the operation of my eye, you remember last year I had cancer and I got the operation. It was the day of Chinese New Year and it was February 7. 2 years ago, last year, I don't remember what.
Yeah.
I think the operation was last year. Yeah.
Last year.
How is last year? Yeah. Wow. Okay. So how is the celebrations right now in Singapore?
I would say in Singapore now the celebrations are very muted because you can only gather in groups of 5 if you go out.
5.
So maximum is 5,
Yeah.
And if you invite people to your house, then you can only invite people 5 who are not in the house.
What do you mean?
So that means your family is one group and you can get 5 more people.
Okay.
To your house. Yeah.
Okay. So if your family is already 7,
then you add 5 more.
It's a party.
But Singapore families are small. They are all 2 or 3.
I know. It's one or 2.
Exactly.
You don't have joint families. You don't have the grandpa and grandma, everyone living together like in India, no?
Some families do. But as we get more Western, people are more individualistic. People like their own space, their own way of living. And the houses in Singapore, because they're really expensive, tend to be quite small. So people live on their own. That
is very nice when you say houses are very expensive. I mean, it's not nice, the phrase, but I just remember, because it's very different in Mexico. And it was like super difficult for me to understand that when you buy a house, guys, you buy a house for 100 years. You don't buy a house that you can heritage to your great grandchildren, right? Yeah. Like in Singapore, if somebody that is listening this, I will go back to the Christmas, but you say the houses and it was just a remember because it's different also. And some of the people that is listening here, it's our friends from Mexico. When you want to buy a house in Singapore, you don't buy a house forever like we do. In Mexico, if you buy a house, you will sell the house. And if you pass away, your children can use the house. And the children pass away, the grandchildren can use the house. In Singapore, you buy the house for 99 years. So when the 99 years are gone, the government will take the house. And if you want to keep the house, you have to pay again that house that your great grandfather bought it. Right? Like it's like a renting the house for 99 years when you buy it. The same thing with the cars. If you want to buy a car, you have to pay a permission to drive a car. And sometimes the permission is $75,000 to buy a car. And that car, you can use it for 10 years.
Yes.
If you want to keep using the car another 10 years, you have to pay another permission that is more expensive than buy another permission. So the government, what is doing is that there's no cars with more than 10 years circulating in Singapore land. Those cars are exported to Malaysia or Indonesia. Thank you. So they are the countries that are close by. More of them to Malaysia, that is right in the border. But it's very interesting that all those rules, I was like, you have to pay to, and it was like normal. And I was like, what? How? You see that Ben was like, yes. So it's
it's interesting because the government's ethos is to provide affordable housing, and how they do it is, so if you compare Singapore to an equivalent would be Hong Kong, for example, and prices in Hong Kong are way higher than Singapore.
Yeah.
And how they control this is they control it by time. I would say 70-80% of property in Singapore for 99 years. And then the rest from colonial times that were sold were probably either freehold, that means you buy it forever, or 999. But they're about 20%, I think.
Okay. But
I'm
it's
not very
very,
good with that real estate.
that's nice that way you say is Hong Kong is higher. The price in Singapore is much higher than Mexico. It's amazing. Like one small house can be $400,000 in Singapore. Easy.
Well, now I think you can't find 400,000 anymore.
So
Most private
now
properties start at $1 million
$1 million
for private, yeah.
house that is going to be your house for 99 years.
70% of the time, yes.
Okay, la. So we are, Allah is very nice. Okay, la. So going back to the why, what, do you know what is this of why in Singapore you say yes la, no la, ken la, no la, everything is la? What is the meaning?
Well, we call it Singlish, and it means many things.
Okay, what?
It means
What is the
many
meaning?
things. There are multiple articles and videos to explain how the same word used in a different context means different things.
So tell me one, like maybe like padre in Spanish, that we use it for everything, or many other words. So tell me two or one. For me, sounds super cool. I mean, when I say, when I'm in Singapore and Joylene or someone in the office is like, yes la. La is
Yeah.
like, what? Yes
So
la.
yes la is like an affirmation. Yes, don't you get it?
Ah, it's like tag ending.
Yeah, yes le is like yes, I also agree.
Yes le, yes la.
Yes
Ken
me
la?
means is it really
Ken la?
yes?
Ken la? What when you say
Ken la?
Ken la?
Yeah.
Ken. It's very
Ken
nice.
la.
I mean, you have to be
It's
in Singapore in order
affirmation.
to listen all the Singaporean people. So go back to the Christmas. How is the Christmas? So it's like 5 people can come to your house. And what happened in Singapore if nowadays you go out and you are 6 people instead of 5?
Oh, you can't. No restaurant would serve. No.
Your voice no, don't do that.
No. The government has fined and closed down many restaurants that allow 6 people. They close you down. So you can't.
So the restaurant will say, no, you cannot come. You are 6.
Yes.
You know what
And you
I
can't
heard?
even do like 3 and 3. Cannot. Because you know each other. You will talk.
So if you go 6 and you are 3 and 3, you have to sit 3 in one side and 3 the other side, so you guys will not be able to talk anyway.
Yeah, or some restaurants won't even serve you. They will just say, please go somewhere else. They're very strict.
And if you are foreigner, because if you are
No.
Singaporean, if you have a Singaporean, you know that what can happen, and you have that in your blood, and you are like, no, don't do that. Just like the way you said. But if you're a foreigner, no.
The shops will tell you. There will be signs. Some shops just don't even. So that day we went out and there were 4 of us, and then 2 more came, and they said they wanted, and then we said hi. And because we said hi, when they wanted to buy beer to go and sit at another place, the shop wouldn't even sell them beer. They said that you know the other 4 people, and that makes 6 of you. So we're not going to sell you any alcohol. So you can't even sit in the establishment.
Wow.
Very
this
strict.
is very different.
Very different. They would rather not make the money.
I was thinking because the other day I no. Well, it doesn't matter. But the thing is that like how you have to, I mean, how different we are acting in the world. We are so similar. Like in India, the phrase I love, same but different. All the human beings, and at the same time, how we relate with the different circumstances in the world, the way that we really, like you said, like if the government is saying no, here, like if the government say no and we say, and like there's no. I have never said that, so I will talk for myself because Miroslava is connected and she's also Mexican, and maybe she acts different. So okay, this is, you know what I heard once, that at the beginning, it was like the graduation of Newfield, the program, the coaching program, and some of our students went to celebrate, and they were super nervous because most of them were residents of Singapore, but foreigners. I mean, they were like they were like from different parts of Europe and some from Latin America and like that. And they told me that we cannot go together because our passport can be taken by the government if we are together on the street. And I was like, how?
That
the government will come and will take our passport, our resident permit. So it's a way that, okay, you don't want to follow my rule. You have to go away from my country. That is true?
Yes, it is. So they cannot take your passport away, but they can take your resident permit away.
The resident permit, yeah.
It's part of the theme of, I said, whether a country is able and willing to enforce the rules.
Yeah.
And in my experience, Singapore is very willing and very able to enforce the rules. And it's not whether it's good or bad, isn't it? There are benefits to following the rules and there are negatives to it. And similarly for Mexico, if you don't follow the rules, there are benefits and there are consequences.
Yeah, it's like
differences.
Yeah, as you said, it's not a question of it's good, if it's bad. I'm not judging, and it's not an assessment session, right? It's like emotions. It's not a good or bad emotion. It's this is the place that I was born. This is the place that I choose to stay. I was born in Mexico, and I have been so many years out of Mexico. And if I'm in Singapore, I need to follow the rule of Singapore. And if I'm in India, I follow the rule of India. So it's me who has to adapt to the place that I'm choosing to stay. And it's me, the one that has also choosing what are the things that I believe in, what are the things that I want to take care of. It's my consciousness, it's my responsibility also. And it's something that we do. As a doctor, what is your dream, your bigger dream as a human being? I mean, my dear buddy.
My dream.
Yeah.
So
something
on a
that you would like to
personal level,
accomplish. Yeah.
Well, I've started a few of it. So is to have a company that deals with health. So my company deals with health, right? So if you look at the World Health Organization, they have 7 domains of health. And really what I'm looking at is how can we keep people healthy? But beyond the traditional medical context of physical health or illness prevention or illness management is how do we let people stay in physical health? And then there is emotional health, mental health, social health, which I feel these 3 gets covered by coaching and organizational development. Then there are things like environmental health, financial health, spiritual health. So then these are the other areas that you need to look at: the environment in which we live, in which we work, the spirituality of an individual. And so really, the dream is whether or not we can have conversations around health in a more meaningful and holistic fashion, beyond the dichotomy of physical health, then mental health, and then nothing else, is a person can have no physical illness, no mental illness, but if they are socially isolated and lonely, they can actually have a lot of health problems. And I read a book called Together by Vivek Murthy recently, and it's about how loneliness in itself is as high a risk factors as heart disease and smoking to cause a patient to die. People actually can die from loneliness.
Loneliness more than smoking.
Yeah, there are studies to say that if patients are lonely, their mortality and their risk of having heart problems and other problems is actually as high as patients who have high blood pressure and diabetes and smoke. So health is quite a holistic concept. Just because you have no physical illness or no mental problems doesn't mean that if you are socially isolated, that's okay. Environment can be toxic, your spiritual health. So a lot of religion, people go to it because of spiritual health, not just religion per se, but spirituality. And if that is lacking, a person can feel like there's no purpose, what am I doing? So it's really to have these holistic conversation. And of course, eventually, maybe I run my own hospital.
Wow.
In a coaching and organizationally sound, organizational design and development is sound way.
Wow, in Singapore?
I'm not so sure whether we run it in Singapore, somewhere. As long as
you don't know, somewhere. Okay. I have a dream also, like, it's not a hospital, but it's a wellness center. A wellness center that I want to use the essential oils as a complementary therapy, the primal dance that you have explored so many times with me. So I mean, with me and within you. I just facilitate, but you explore within yourself the primal dance.
I understand what you're saying.
Nice that you want to have a hospital. That's a great. I mean, I
The
love it.
dream. Who
Yeah,
knows?
a dream that can come true. Have you ever studied Chinese medicine, acupuncture,
No,
and those things?
no, it was something I was thinking of, and then I only have so much time in a day, so I decided that that's probably not something I would do for now.
For now.
I do believe in it a lot, though.
You believe in that? I have an amazing Chinese doctor in Singapore that I can introduce to you, that I every time that I go to Singapore, and it's very close to the office, it's very close to Cecil Street. I mean, when I go walking towards from the office, from the school to Chinatown, that I love to go walking to do my feet massage. My foot massage is amazing there. So if you go in that street, that the metro, the MRT street, that street is very close by. So I can introduce you with him, because maybe you can meet him. And he's a doctor and Chinese doctor, and he puts acupuncture, and he's very nice. He has been in some of the events of the school, because I always invite him. So the thing is, I never told you this is a doctor. So I will do that connection. Yeah, I will do that connection for sure. So it's because the way you are, I mean, I ask you because my experience of you since I met you is you have this holistic I think Dr. Ben is the one that disconnect. Let me see.
Hello.
Yeah, you're here, you're back. I don't know if you
Yes.
were disconnected or I was disconnected, so
I was.
quiet.
Someone called my phone and the hotspot didn't work for a while.
Okay. So you are here, you are back. So what I was
Yes.
saying is that because I saw you that like frozen, and I was like, it's me or it's you, so I didn't talk. So my last thing, and we can start closing this space, that my experience of you since I met you is your interest for many things, like super eclectic in your space, like as a doctor, as a coach, education. And there are many things that are not, I mean, all those things are related. But that's why my question, that if you has been interested in also all this wisdom that is in the people, that is in the, I mean, in your ancestors. Singaporeans have Chinese medicine. It's something that is like in India, that the yoga, even though you don't practice yoga, someone in your life, and your ancestor, your great grandfather maybe practices something related. So you guys in Singapore that have your roots in China, I mean, not the only, but many. And if you are interested in that wisdom, but because you have it, it's like maybe you don't have the technique part that you have not studied, but it's something that is there, it's in the air. It's something that there are people that they know nothing about medicine in Singapore, but they know at what time I have to take the peppermint, because the peppermint and the liver. And I was like, how you know this? Because my grandma told me. So it's a lot of things that are coming with the wisdom of our ancestors. So it's beautiful that you are thinking in this dream of having that space of putting together all the different arenas and the different spectrums of medicine and the hospital. I can see it. I mean, I visualize it when you say it. So I'm like, yeah, it will be amazing. So it's so cool. I would love to ask you so many things, and I know that we are running out of time. But my full gratitude with you, because my journey to start being more conscious of the importance of water and taking water and hydrate myself and losing weight and start more conscious with my cholesterol levels. So many conversations with you when we were doing this health coaching program, that you were explaining me that, Beatriz, if you do this, if you do this. So it was a
Yeah.
program that we did together, but the way we run it as a team and the way you give me your insights and your questions and your company as a body in that program that we were working together in our studies, it was very powerful. And I stayed since then. I have water next to me all the time that I didn't just to drink water. And it was like so many when you were doing your goals also for reading your books and all this, those conversations, I have them in a very special place in my heart. I love you very much. I enjoy to see how much you have grown since I met you and all the things that you are learning in your medical space and this robotic operation that you went to learn in London and all the things that are just not in your learning and your expertise, but how you are really in service in learning in health constantly. And I do really appreciate that in you. And I want to say congratulations. I'm very proud of being your friend. I have run many roles during the last 5 years, but as a friend, I'm really, really, thank you very much. So I give you the space so you close and you can say whatever you have any advice for whoever listen this or comment or whatever you feel like.
I think I would echo what you say. I think it has been a privilege for me, when I first joined the coaching program, and I knew you as my somatic coach, and then through the 5 years, and we have then encountered in many different settings, and so the health coaching was quite a change in the dynamics. And I do see that you're drinking a lot more water, as I am now as well. And actually, I've read a lot more books since the time we started, and I thought about I want to read some books and how it changed my habit. So actually, since London, I'm still sleeping 7 hours a day most days now, which is difficult in Singapore. And I read probably 36 books last year and 10 this year. So I've been keeping it up. So I would say it's a privilege to be on a journey, and we continue to learn, and I do enjoy our conversations a lot. I think perhaps what I would leave the space with is as that is the catalyst, is it still goes back to the example you gave me about how your friend went to visit India and then got into an accident, is that health is transparent. It is not obvious to us unless it is broken. So there is value in examining health, the multiple different dimensions of health, to reassess what is my physical health, what's my mental health, what's my social health, what's my emotional health, what's my spiritual health, and all the different domains of health that I could possibly have, and to reevaluate constantly, what can I do for my health before it breaks and it results in something that calls for my attention, to pay attention before we get there. So that's probably from me. And thank you for the time and the space.
No, please, thank you. Welcome anytime. Have a beautiful, beautiful Christmas night with your family. Say hi to everyone around. Say hi to your mom also. We still have to talk because we said we will have a tea when I go back to Singapore, and I have not been back. So we have to do it by Zoom. So yes. Say hi to everyone there. Merry Christmas for you. All the best for the closing of this year. The best for the next one, and we keep in touch, and let's talk as soon as the year starts to find out what are resolutions. And thank you for the space. I love you very much, and I really really love the way all the things that you are doing. And even though you have been graduating 13 years ago, you still look very young, and you are very young. So it's like one of the girls that are connected here says, young people like you guys give hope to the world. That message is for you, because she knows that I'm not that young. She's my age. She's from my high school, so she knows me. So it's you. That message is from you that gives hope to the world. And it's like that. It's true. I also believe that thank you. Thank you for your existence, and thank you for all the things that your generation and your way of being and thinking is doing. in Singapore and everywhere else. So
Thank you. We
thank
catch up
you.
soon.
Yes, of course
Have
we
a Merry
will.
Christmas and a blessed New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
Take
Bye.
care.
We can talk
Bye.
next year for about the Chinese New Year. You know, we can
Sure. Let
talk
me
about
know
the
when's good for you.
February, because we can explain what is Chinese New Year from Songam from Singapore. That is different if I explain. Okay.
Okay, if there's a demand for it.
Yes,
Take
it
care.
is. I tell you. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.